uncommon narratives you can produce when you, again, organizing around somebody else's listening. Understanding how to speak what it is you're offering, whether it's a paperclip or some biological or pharmaceutical or whatever it happens to be. There's always jargon involved, right? There's always technical terms. There's linguistic distinctions that describe what it is you're offering. And if the listener doesn't understand what that means, like I don't understand a lot of terminology in your field, it would be lost on me. If you guys try to give me a technical description of what it is you're working on, I just, sounds great, and likely vice versa, right? If I ask you what's elliptic curve dippy helmet, I'm probably guessing, probably not meaning too much, right? So for me to use that as a sales pitch, I'm not going to produce the outcomes that I intend to. And that's why it's so important to learn how to understand who it is you're talking to, understand their background listening. Again, I use that term, hoping it makes sense. We're always listening with our own experience, our own language. And if I'm always speaking against my background listening and not considering yours, I'm likely not communicating. The challenge here is to write a paragraph and be prepared to speak it. So the next 5 and 10 minutes, think about how you, again, these are kind of hints. I'll just say, write a paragraph about what you're working on, but I'd like to coach you a little bit and give you some thinking. Wrap up everything I just said and think, what are the background listening of the people? What do they care about? What can they hear? What can they understand? And make a paragraph that's going to come off persuasive. Seduction is a word I use. I always have to describe it because in today's society it means something not what I intended to mean. But it's seducing somebody is to compel somebody to want to transact. Wow, Lindsay, that sounds awesome. I'm an engineer and not even in this domain, but I would love to fund one of your little projects here. That sounds fantastic, right? So tell us about what you're working on in a paragraph that you'll be able to speak within, what, a minute or less? So that's what today's experiment is about. Seducing us, persuading us that, wow, you're working on the coolest thing. Think about the listener, think about their ontology, think about their reality. Is what you're saying meaningful to them? Be able to speak in a way that elicits outcomes and know the outcomes you're trying to elicit. If you're trying to elicit a grant in a document or in a speech or in something, if you're going to talk to your counselor or ASU's folks that you want to elicit something like, listen, I want to get into this program, but if you can't provide them a description, meaning, relative value and purpose of what it is you want, how are they supposed to help? How are you supposed to motivate them or mobilize them? Know how to speak description, meaning, relative value and purpose, and know that we live in a linguistic framework, meaning it's not Cartesian, it's not like rote, knowable, fixed. Well, I didn't get that because of some external circumstance that I had no influence in. No, you have an influence. Language produces reality. We live in language soup in our head. It's not Cartesian. It's not like science, right? When you guys, we use words to describe mathematics of pure science, right, they say, because everything has a distinct meaning and it's universal. But we don't live in math. We live in other language. So as scientists, avoid the temptation to use your vernacular in a way that doesn't produce any effective outcomes for you. You have to learn it, don't get me wrong. Use it when you need to, but don't use it for the sake of using it.